Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Have you begun recording?
No, it's not it.
All right. So let me know, give me a cue whenever you're live, or the video will start.
So I'll start the video.
All right, begin, it's 4. Start recording, please. Video. Are you playing the video? Good afternoon, namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 5th show and the first one down south, the 6th show and the second one down south in Bangalore. Our moderators from Chennai, Friday, 6th of July. And this show is all about better sustainability practices, the need of the hour. Who better than Diversey to partner with if the subject is sustainability? And they're also our presenting partners. The show is named Diversey BW Hotelier, the GM show, season 2. Prashant. We're now into our 3rd week. And this is going to be another wonderful session. I've got stars over here, right? I shall introduce them to you all soon. And coming down to the south is special. There's so much happening over here. Today, I log in from Bangalore, which has been overcast for the last many days, and it's nice and sunny. As you can see, there's a lot of light over here. I log in from the Four Seasons in Bangalore. Going by the viewership numbers, we already have one big winning series here again. Most of you have watched it live, and then many of you have watched it in the recording parts. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, stars on the show. And thank you, Team BW, and thank you, Diversey. Like I've always maintained, this is that one show that presents to you all some of the finest hospitality general management leadership talent. They will lead this industry in times to come, some sooner than later. The reason why we do the GM show virtually is because it helps us reach all general managers across the country without having to pull them out physically from their busy schedules. On the table are some very important topics and issues to discuss, current and futuristic, and together we find a way forward. The format of the series is regional, where we cover North, West, South, and East, and then we go hop across to the Northeast and the Central region with 2 shows a week, every Thursday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Block your schedule, block your calendar, stay tuned. The show will be relayed live on weBBlast.com and across our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Be there, follow us, encourage us to bring you more such gems. But last but not the least, thank you all for all your encouragement and support. For those of you who missed watching the show live last week or yesterday, don't stress. The show recordings can be viewed on our platforms. It's now time to get on with the show and bring to you the stars like I did say a while ago. The topic today is better sustainability practices, the need of the hour. Sustainability more than ever before. The South must institutionalize these practices, and it is time to go beyond reuse, recycle, and reduce. But how efficiently and fast can we do that? I have somebody here who I really look up to moderate the session, and he's an expert. The slide tells you all Zubin Sungadwala, who's the Area General Manager South for ITC Hotels, and also the General Manager ITC Grand Chola, Chennai. Welcome to the show, Zubin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Open up your screen. Next is Manas Chakravarti, Krishnamurthy. He's the General Manager, ITC Gardenia, Bangalore. Another hotelier of great stock, who's done a lot before he moved into ITC Gardenia. Another beautiful property. Welcome to the show, Manas.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. Thank you for having us.
Pleasure. Ronan Firon. I don't know how many you have met Ronan. Ronan is somebody who heads one gorgeous property, a great asset, right? He's the general manager of the Tony and well-appointed JW Marriott Bangalore Prestige Golfshire Resort and Spa. I've stayed there. I can tell you, I can endorse it as one heck of a hotel. Welcome to the show, Ronan.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Lovely to be here. Lovely to see everybody.
Pleasure's ours. Next in is a man, as you can see, smart, young, handsome, Srijan Vadhera, who's the general manager of the Conrad Bangalore. Srijan, welcome to the show. I shall tell you more about him in a bit.
Thank
Srijan,
you, Khanna Saab. I'm very excited. Thank you.
I'm delighted. Srijan is going to soon take a long flight out of India for his next posting. He'll be moving to Osaka, Japan. Best of luck, Srijan.
Thank you, Khanna Saab. Thank you.
I've announced it to the country for those who've not known it. Gaurav Miglani, genial, polite, not that others are not. Very understated. He's the general manager of the Taj Bangalore Airport. Somebody who I met within a week of his taking over this assignment in 2019. Welcome to the show, Gaurav.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Always a pleasure here. Always.
Pleasure's ours, Gaurav. Last but not the least, again understated, quiet, Girish Ganeshan. He's the general manager of the Radisson Blu Outer Ring Road, Bangalore. Welcome to the show, Girish. All right. Now, we're already a few minutes into the show. Let's begin. I shall hand over the baton to Zubin Sungadwala. Zubin?
Hi guys.
You'll have to switch on your camera.
I'm able to do that. So,
Do you want to log in, log out, and log in?
because the host has disabled my switching on. Yeah, it might be, you can't be so insecure. Yeah. I know you are better looking than me.
Listen, how can that be? Ajit?
I've got the rights. Yeah.
Okay. My apologies
No
for this,
worries.
for
So
the
same message is coming for me also, Bhunesh. The
Oh.
host. Yeah.
Karthikeya. Can you switch on, Girish?
All the good-looking guys' cameras have been switched off.
All right, Girish will come in. All right, there he is. Apologies, Girish. I was wondering what's happening. All right, Zubin, time to begin.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, audience from across the country and outside as well for those who logged in. When I first received this invite, Bhuvnesh said it's on the 28th, it's at 4 o'clock. I said, hey, listen, I've got a very, very important engagement that's happening here, and I may not be able to. And he said, you don't have a choice. And when I actually thought back, the engagement that's happening here currently as we speak at the ITC Grand Chola is that we have the ministerial meet of the G20 environment ministers across all the G20 nations. They are all here in-house at the moment and talking about exactly the same thing that we are talking about climate change, environment, conservation, and bringing about a balance in the way we do things and the way we live our life. So, and what better place for them to choose than do it at the ITC Grand Chola, a hotel that has been indeed making a lot of strides on this initiative right from the time of its inception 10 years ago. But we are going to talk about what the industry today is doing and what it is that the industry can do further and what are the opportunities that we have on the subject. And I'll just be a little biased here, and I will start with Manas Krishnamurthy from ITC Gardenia, and
Biased.
across to Manas. And it's a known fact that as far as this ever-increasing conversation about climate change, environment concerns, etc., and adopting sustainable practices is on. Manas, how do you believe that a luxury hotel can strike this balance between giving personalized, luxurious experiences and luxurious service without really impacting the environment and the world and the society that it is in?
Okay, I think it's a very complex question. And I am going to be also biased to the extent that my mindset and my upbringing is very highly influenced by ITC's approach to environment management, sustainability, etc. So I'll start for the uninitiated that the bedrock of what we do is based on something called responsible luxury, where indulgence is meant to be guilt-free. But to answer a very simple question that you ask, how does a luxury hotel maintain or drive luxury without compromising on what the environment stands for? Very simply, in our hotels, you don't have to worry about how many times the towels are washed or what sheets need to get changed and things like that, because we back-end it for you. So you are living guilt-free in our hotels. But let me talk about the big ones that really set apart ITC hotels. And I think while we are trailblazers on the subject, there are several companies that are following suit, not just within our sector of hotels, but also across the board. I was lucky enough to be part of ITC Windsor when we became the first LEED zero carbon hotel in the world. Unbelievable. A 40-year-old hotel that turned zero carbon, and it's no mean feat at all. It took us about 2.5 years of constant work that I was involved in to turn zero carbon. Thereafter, several other hotels, including ITC Grand Chola, where my boss, Zubin Songarwala, is sitting, the largest hotel in the world to be zero carbon. And now we have 12 of those. When we opened our hotel, ITC Gardenia, in 2009, 2008, 2009, first LEED platinum hotel in Asia. Again, not an easy way to deal with our commitment to the environment. In fact, so many of you, in fact, Bhuvnesh was here last night, and he's never been here before. I don't know if you noticed, Bhuvnesh, but we don't have air conditioning in my lobby.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So to be able to deliver in a luxurious experience is not necessarily an impingement on the environment, energy, waste, or whatever else. It's not. It can be done intelligently if we are committed towards it. Now, this is a very large topic. I can talk for the next 40 minutes on this subject alone in response to this one question. I'm not going to. But yes, these are some of the big ones that I'm talking about. In 2019, we started a 0 mile water to get rid of plastic. Now, our annual saving as a company is almost 2.5 lakh kilo plastic within hotels, not even the broad company. Yeah, and it's still luxury. Nobody's complaining. Everybody's really having a good time on this subject. Energy efficiency is another portion where pretty much we spend 1.5 lakh for roughly about 8 lakh units that we consume as a hotel. We spend 1.5 lakh, and equivalent of that, probably my colleagues in the system will be in the range of between 70 and 80 lakhs a month. Everything is wind generated / solar generated. In our case, it's almost entirely wind generated. And then we are progressing even further. We are generating water from the air. We are doing a pilot at Welcome Hotel Bangalore. Our commitment to electricity and to fossil fuel management is very, very high. We do not have diesel generators anymore in the hotel unless for emergencies. Our entire boiler system is electrical in nature. But
in a way,
is luxury this? Sorry,
yeah,
I just will finish this last one.
Yeah.
Is luxury the same as saving the environment? It is two peas in a pod. You won't have luxury if you don't save the environment, is my personal opinion on this subject.
So we would talk, it would be guilt-free indulgence.
Absolutely.
You
The
can
exact
indulge,
phrase.
have an experience, and you can at the same time be guilt-free that you're not damaging or not, like I said earlier, impacting the environment. Talking about two peas in a pod, Ronan, only when customer behavior is aligned to sustainable practices or sustainable thoughts is when we would be able to actually get the best results. Now, how do you engage with your guests to inspire them? How do you have? Can you share some thoughts and ideas on how you inspire them to actually sing the same song that you are on sustainability, and what are the activities that you do to do so?
Yeah. So I think for quite some time, organizations have been clear about their expectations of what they expect from a hotel partner. And I think we're seeing now that the individual guests, the consumers, are getting more vocal about what their expectations are when it comes to sustainability. And I think we all get questions on a weekly basis in relation to our sustainability initiatives or renewable energy sources from our guests. And this happens pretty regularly. And I think many of us today can be proud about the steps that we've taken to satisfy these requests. As a relatively new resort, the JW Marriott had the luxury to open with many of these initiatives in place. So for our guests, the guest experience includes a paperless check-in, check-out, mobile key on the mobile phone, amenities that are fixed to the wall in the bathrooms, which I think we're seeing increasingly now. I think we're by the end of this year, all Marriott hotels in India will have these residential bath amenities, whether it's digital screens for marketing in the lobby instead of printed material, electric charging stations. But there's two initiatives that I think we get the greatest amount of feedback from our customers, from our guests. Number one is the fact that we have completely eliminated plastic from our operations. So we have nothing that is plastic in our minibar. We have nothing that is, our packaging is zero plastic. And obviously we have an in-house water bottling plant. So we have no plastic water bottles. And that's been a huge benefit to us. And the second thing is we have a JW garden, which all of our JW Marriotts have. And from there, we plant fruits, vegetables, herbs, and we bring those into our menus so that our guests can see this 0 mile produce being implemented in the menus, in the food that they eat every single day. And then also,
I've seen that.
yes, I know there's still a patch that you need to harvest for us, Bhuvanesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to earn your meal.
You got to earn your meal, right? So, but I think the engagement of the gardening and the plantation, and we keep on finding more and more places where we can plant various different vegetables so that we can just grow, and it's the easiest thing ever to grow. And bringing that into the menu, whether it's for just a couple or a family, or even as a larger small group, whether it's a conference or whatever, bringing that onto the table as 0 mile produce has been incredible. Great feedback on that.
That's fabulous. And one's heard a lot about your property and the kind of events and activities that you do, and if you're with the kind of rates that you also are able to pull in the market, if you're able to also have these sustainable practices, get the customer engaged and get the consumer involved in this, I think it's you've got a winning combination on your hands. Well done.
Thank you.
Srijan, relatively new hotel again. What's it now? Been about 5 years?
Yeah.
In the heart of the city, literally. And I would imagine when the hotel was launched, the awareness about sustainability, etc., had already caught on. There was quite a bit happening. What are the challenges that you as a business hotel faced? Because at the end of the day, it's there is so much greenwashing happening. Everyone is talking, oh, we are green, we're green. But is there something that you in your hotel have been able to do to genuinely show with measurable results your green credentials?
So before I start, Zubin, actually, I must compliment ITC for taking the lead in India in going green. So in India, I think good job done by you guys. And that's how I think Khanna Saab chose you and gave you the great topic which you.
Well, I wish I could take credit, but I think it's actually the philosophy and it's our DNA now, and the corporate lives that. We've been doing that. Yep.
Yeah, Zubin, thank you for being very humble. # humble suits you. Yeah. So I think a few of the challenges which I would say. Not only for my hotel, but otherwise, which most of the hotels face is while we are a relatively new hotel and we've got a great partner in the ownership who also believes in sustainability, which was easy run for us to kind of put things from day one in the building and kind of invest. I think the biggest of the few of the basic problems that all the hotels and business hotels face is one is the awareness on why should the owner or the partners invest in it. And then also the initial cost is relatively higher than the returns that you see from day one. So primarily to get people to believe that this would give you back with the kind of investment and would eventually help the environment be stronger is also one of the key factors wherein as a promoter and the investor, you need to kind of educate them. And I was just going through the stats, and if Khanna Saab calls you, then you have to be well prepared. Otherwise, he can bully you on the screen live. So I did make my cheat notes and I did study a lot. I think over 1% of the global carbon emission is from hotels, which is an alarming number. This is the number which I'm reading from 2019. So which I'm not very sure whether it has grown up or come down. But
12 ITC hotels have become zero carbon, so don't worry.
Zubin, we have got 7,400 hotels operating, and we are going to open 1,600 more hotels in next 1.5 years. So I think the world is good. I hope 5% of our hotels, if we get to your numbers, I think we will also make a difference. Anyway, # humble being Zubin on the call. Is is also, I think the consumer also is changing. They also understand that they are ready to spend more to stay in a green hotel. And actually, I'm looking at the booking.com stats, which says over 53% of the global traveler wants to travel more sustainable in future. And Hilton as a company, we conducted a survey 2018-2019, which found that 1/3 of the guests are actually willing to invest in their travel along with hotel platforms and look at the greener, hotels.
Sorry, are you saying that the guest is willing to pay a premium to check into a certified greener hotel?
That's true, and that's the
But
survey which was.
Are you seeing that also with the corporate traveler, where the person who is responsible for negotiating the rate, his deliverables are more to see how much he was able to save in terms of revenue rather than carbon credits?
Yes. So Zubin, there are for Hilton as a company, we are the company that provides any of the customer before they sign up the carbon neutral footprints and the amount of carbon that you would produce out of your meeting and about from your stay. And then we also give them the which is free of charge, which the hotel and the company bears the cost, that we offset the similar and exact number of carbon footprints and gives you the certificate. And in this year alone, Zubin, I have given it to 7 companies, international companies, who asked for it, and it is part of our negotiation and part of our offering. And I'm very, very happy to say, which is a good change. And I would recommend that all the hotels should go towards that path, because it's a very valid and it's a certified process to show that this is a sustainable travel and sustainable living that all the corporates are moving towards.
That's truly a measurable, Srijan. Really,
yes.
That's fabulous. I mean, because I know that those companies then can use it to offset certain other emissions, etc., that they would otherwise generate. And hopefully, going forward, if we are all able to do this, we'll be able to probably get a little more premium out of that customer for being able to give them this.
And Zubi, another thing that at Hilton, we call it travel with purpose, and all the hotels have a set benchmark and target to achieve. And we are measured. This is a part of our major KRA that talk about, sustainable and travel with purpose. So I can go on, and I know Khanna Saab is going to give me the hint by, so I've got more cheat notes, but I can put it later. But I think just to summarize, we have to get our partners to believe in it, and the initial cost might sound a little high, but we all professionals have to get people to believe that this is the investment which will get you better results. And then the awareness with the end traveler is also increasing. It's just that we have to back it up with certifications, and we will talk about it. It's just the awareness, and that's what I would talk about.
Srijan san, the name is Bhuvi or Bhuvnesh?
No, for me, I've got a lot of respect for you. I can never ever call you with your first name, so please excuse me for that. I will always call you Mr. Khanna and Khanna Saab.
It goes tonight.
Oh well.
All right. Sorry, Zubin.
Semantics, tomato.
Yeah.
So, Gaurav, coming to Gaurav now, Gaurav, we first interacted when the country locked down.
On the same platform.
On the same platform, and we talked about actually, even so did Srijan was on that platform as well. And we talked about how we survived. The way things are now moving, actually, we have revived, and now hotels are beginning to thrive as well.
Touch wood.
So touch wood, and maybe continue to. But Gaurav, you have a very unique location again. Of course, almost as unique as Ronan, but you are right at the airport, which is in the middle of nowhere, which has now virtually become a destination in itself. You have guests coming through, and we've also now realized that our customers and consumers are becoming more and more savvy. Hotels have to demonstrate their commitment. Now, IHCL, I know for a fact, has been doing a lot as well on this activity and various activities as far as that is concerned. But can you tell us some of the practices that, because this can't happen without innovation. You can't just do business as usual. You have to constantly innovate. You have to do something new. You have to think of something new, practices, etc. So some of these unique, creative, sustainable initiatives that you've implemented to make a significantly positive impact.
No, I'm glad we're chatting again on the same chat show, Mr. Songadwala. But I'll start with something that I recently read, and I think it was something very, very interesting that said sustainability used to be a marketing talk point till a few years back. It then reached a stage where companies started adopting sustainability for compliance perspective. And going forward, it has to be the way of life. Because at the end of the day, if you're not sustainable, you're not leaving anything behind for the next generation. So the more we start talking about sustainability today, the more continued our business operations would be maybe a few years from now. You're right, Taj Bangalore has a very, very unique location in itself. We are the only hotel near the airport. We virtually had no neighbors till the time Ronan came along, and he's the closest neighbor, and he's also about 20 kilometers away. But till 20 kilometers of radius, there's no other hotel. So I'll talk about two aspects over here. One is with IHCL, and IHCL obviously has put all its sustainability, CSR, and public welfare initiatives under a brand umbrella called Pathya. The word Pathya gets derived from a Sanskrit term called Path, which means path or a way. And all the sustainability initiatives come under this particular umbrella brand. And under the 4 pillars of Pathway, the one which tackles about environmental stewardship, we had set some very stiff targets for ourselves when Pathway was launched in 2021. And these targets were to be achieved in 2025, when we thought that 40% of all our energy needs would be met through renewable sources. We'll reduce our carbon footprint by 25%, zero single-use plastic across all our hotels, and 100% hotels will have an organic waste composter. But if we were to look at the annual report that we published in 22-23, it just came out right now, a lot of these targets have actually already been achieved. So the progress on the Pathway front has been extremely good. We are now operating our hotels with 35% renewable energy. There is 42% recycled water being used in operating hotels. 77 hotels have an EarthCheck certification. There are 320 EV charging stations that have been installed across 129 properties, along with our partner brand Tata Power. 20 plus properties already have a bottling plant, which means there is no plastic bottle being used in any of these hotels. And we've moved to a biodegradable wrapping across all our guest room amenities. So those are some significant things that have happened in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years. The target is to have all our hotels, operating hotels, move over to bottling plants by 2025, and it's completely on track. Now, if we were to talk about Taj Bangalore, I think the interesting thing over here is with the Bangalore International Airport. And I think it's probably one of the most sustainable airports in the world. It's the 3rd busiest airport in the country, spread over almost 4,000 acres. It achieved an energy neutral status in the year 2021 itself through energy generation from the on-site and the off-site power purchase model. Today, Bangalore International Airport relies 100% on renewable energy. And as concessionaires that are operating within the airport, all concessionaires have 100% renewable energy access today. If we talk about water, this is the only water positive airport complex across the world. In fact, across the world, water positive across the world. And which means the rate of replenishment is more than the consumption. So for every liter consumed, 1.37 liters is actually being replenished in the water table. They are actually using the first of its kind weather-based smart automatic irrigation system, which is taking care of the almost 7.5, 8 kilometers of the garden that surrounds the airport. And this irrigation system actually measures parameters like the evaporation rate, soil moisture, and weather conditions before the irrigation system actually starts. The STP of the airport is a 5.5 million liters a day capacity STP, and 100% of the water is actually being treated and reused within the airport complex for irrigation, for flush water, for HVAC makeup. No single-use plastic inside the entire airport complex.
Wow.
All packaging that's being used is actually made of sugarcane pulp and is 100% biodegradable and compostable. So being a part of the airport complex also gives us all these benefits that come along. So for the hotel, for example, we don't have an STP in the hotel. All our waste discharge is connected to the bile STP, and the treated water that comes around gets used in the hotel as well. Energy 100% renewable. So all of these things.
Double whammy. You've got your owning company as well as the operating company who both believe in the same philosophy.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a fabulous marriage.
Fabulous.
And I'm sure you can go on, but
I think I'll stop right now.
But it's really an eye-opener. A lot of statistics also that we've got to learn about the Bangalore airport, and the new Terminal 2 is absolutely
very
stunning.
interesting.
And one interesting thing before I actually, I hand over back to you. So there are 7 lakes inside the airport complex, which, lakes inside the airport complex, which collect the water from the entire airport complex. So the runways, 2 runways, the water actually goes from the runways into these lakes. And I got the signal, Mr. Khanna.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead. 7 lakes.
No, very.
Zubin, your conversation with Gaurav reminds me of Mahabharata. From one side, one guy throws one arrow which has some fire, and the other side, someone says, I loved it. It was like ITC versus Taj, and we're loving it. So
No, it's actually not.
I'm going to talk about that a little later. And let's
go further, kill Zubin. I'm with you because you're my biker brother. We must.
In fact, let's say it's ITC with the Taj. ITC
absolutely
together.
Girish, let's step it up a little bit now. We've talked about practices, environment-friendly practices, eco-friendly practices, etc. We also talked about measuring these things. Now we have got into what is called ESG strategies. It's a wide range of priorities, not just carbon emissions. There's so much more to it as well. Food waste is a big priority for hotels too. And hotels are usually frowned upon very often, saying, what the hell do you do with leftover food? How do you handle leftover food, etc.? What are the challenges in that, and what is it that you believe that is the best practices that hotels can follow, and not just hotels, any food business can follow to minimize food waste across the board?
Thanks, Owen. See, ESG, environmental, social governance, is a new term that is being used nowadays. Few years back, it was CSR, corporate social responsibility, wherein we had different activities, donations, and other things that has come in. Since the environmental has come across in a big way, so it has come across in the social perspective, plus the environment perspective, to bring in that sustainability factor across. Let me answer this broad question in 3 or 4 perspectives. One is the food waste that gets come across in the various countries or various states. South Korea is the on date topmost country that has managed food waste in the most efficient manner, that converts into compost, that composts into biogas, compared to any other country in the world, and statistics are proving it. And they began much ahead than any other country in the world, including US, for that matter. And in India, this ESG subject curriculum has recently started. Earlier we never had this environmental social governance MBA or a diploma or a degree courses. In the last 4 or 5 years, if you look at it, a lot of people are getting into understanding what is this ESG, what is this subject about. So a lot of students are also getting into learning these ESG courses and becoming more aware about what are the best practices that we can do on that. Now, what is government doing about it on this ESG strategies? Rajya Sabha in 2019 passed a food waste management bill. 2019 they passed it, which is getting carried on, executed by Ministry of Climate Change and Forest and Climate Change and Environment. They are getting into liaison with all the state governments, municipalities, and that is a huge step that Government of India has taken to support and prevent food waste management in a larger sense. Second, FSSAI. FSSAI has notified many organizations in 2019. They have passed the bill also. There is a regulation on FSSAI on food waste management across to promote food donation with certain responsibilities and regulations to do that. Third, important organization, Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog also has given a complete policy guideline on this food waste management to various associations, hotels, restaurants, buildings across. So as a country, we are extremely aware about this food waste management need to be tackled and how it needs to be come across to benefit the society, benefit the country, benefit the people, and support these environmental goals that has been set by various international organizations, various climate control organizations for 2030, 2050 across to do that. Now we come to hotels. What are we doing about it? Now, when it comes to hotels, almost as responsible luxury, RHG has got responsible business. We have got about 5-6 as a policy that we do how we want to do that. Live stations, live cooking stations that we promote to prevent food stations, small portion containers. How to present food in small portion containers, that we can do that. In South Korea, and I was talking about it, they have this lot of pickled vegetables, pickled meat as a side dish. It's called banchan. There is a cultural revolution going on to prevent food waste management in South Korea. The government is preaching them to reduce this side dishes consumption so that the food waste can be reduced. So there is a lot of efforts that is going across globally as well as in our country also to make that happen. There are two things that people are looking at it, how to convert food waste into it. One is correct at the source so that the consumption becomes less and the production also is required as much as it can do. Second, how to convert into biogas that can be utilized, and how to convert into compost that can be used in farms, that can be used in various other places that we can do. In our hotel, in Diversey BW HOTELIER, we have a compost plant which is set across to convert this food waste into these things. These are the few things that various organizations are taking up.
Excellent. All right. I shall zoom in with your permission. I mean, I'm not letting you get away. So let me slip one with you. Right. So, I mean, it's everybody knows ITC is doing a great job on the sustainability environment front. And you had one of the greenest portfolios in a large part of our geography. Tell me, you've got your portfolio of assets across the South, right? How do you bring in alignment with all these assets, your staff, the vertical and horizontal integration, so that you can raise the bar with each outing, number one? And ITC being the green hero of sorts, isn't it your responsibility to, you were doing it already in some manner, but in an institutional manner, bringing in and across the brand buy-in and create a platform where one can learn from best practices that are, institutionalized by you?
So, Moesh, now we go back to what Srijan was mentioning a while ago. You see, Srijan, it is indeed a fact that, on this subject, there's no competition. It has to be collaboration.
Absolutely.
Because it's only when we are able to learn from each other and are able to get the idea of or the philosophy of sustainability embedded in everybody's DNA is when we are going to be successful. And the biggest challenge, and we've seen to a large extent it is happening as well, to educate that consumer. The consumer is not a fool. They know exactly what they want. There are corporates now today who know exactly what they want. So it's forums such as these, Bhuvnesh, honestly, I believe that would bring out many more such heroes. And that would, where we would be able to share many more such stories about our successes and see how they could be emulated. This information should not be proprietary knowledge and kept locked up in a box. It should be freely available. It is available on a sustainability report that ITC has been publishing now for almost 2 decades. ITC embarked on a journey almost 2 decades back for being water positive, carbon positive, and 100% recycling, waste recycling company. And not just across hotels, but across all its manufacturing units as well. And we've been able to achieve that about almost 15 years ago. And we continue to run with that philosophy. Now when you hear that there is an airport, which is a zero, a water positive airport that has come in there in India as well, you feel so proud. And when when such activities continue to happen, it's a great feeling. As far as setting priorities, etc., for the hotels, we set out on this journey in 2009, as Manas said, when we decided that every single hotel will be a LEED platinum rated hotel, because everyone can say they are green, but how do you measure it? So we decided to go with a universal accreditation recognized by the US Green Building Council. And today you've even got the Indian Green Building Council that's giving out these certifications as well, because it's more adapted to the Indian and circumstance, as it were. We also set out a plan for ourselves based on the country's vision to become a net zero carbon country by 2070, if I mistake not. Tamil Nadu actually went a step further, and I'm saying in context of where I'm located, saying that we are going to achieve this in 2050. So, a net zero carbon state. ITC Grand Chola went and became a net zero carbon hotel in 2021. Mammoth hotel like what we are and what we are running. So it's very doable. It's just that this scale needs to now go up exponentially.
True.
So, and exactly again what Srijan said, that we are talking about the numbers, and if 1% of carbon emission is hotels, actually it's a lot coming from hotels, and the opportunity is tremendous. So let's work together, let's make it happen, and yes, there will certainly always be trailblazers in this, and it's their responsibility to ensure that the others also have the opportunity to follow the same practices.
True. Thank you, Zubin. Yes, I think collaboration, like you said, is the way forward. I mean, alone we will head nowhere. We're now past the midway. We've got just a shade under half the questions left. So let me just take a small commercial break and bring in the Diversey video. If you will, please. Thank you. Thank you, Diversey. Back to you, Zubin, for the last part of our session.
Super. We'll continue in the same order. And
Yeah.
just hold Manas to one of the statements that he made regarding his energy bill. You are the envy of many, I must say.
It's my good looks, I tell you.
Oh, great. I agree.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. No, the fact still remains is that what is it that has helped you being able to achieve this? I mean, one is the intent, and I'm sure there would be a lot of support you otherwise have received in terms of policy, in terms of being able to harness this kind of energy and utilize it and not put that kind of impact and load on the grid. Because in many states, otherwise, I know for a fact that the government encourages you to buy power from the grid, particularly when it is abundantly available. So what do you think is going right for you in Karnataka, and what are the kind of opportunities that others have to save natural resources and fossil fuel?
Okay, I will respond to that first of all, but something that we discussed a few minutes ago, all of you, really resonates with me, and I do want to make a statement prior to going into this specific of energy. It's amazing to see what the IHCL is doing, and Hilton is doing, and ITC is doing, it's fantastic. Eye opener for me too on certain subjects. But the important thing is collaboration, and there's no point in one part of the ship sinking when the other part is singing songs about how well we're doing. So it's very nice to see that everybody is kind of committed in their own way, in their own language on the subject of sustainability. Now, coming to energy efficiency, I think you have to take several steps back. First of all, for a building to be energy efficient, it has to be built in that manner to begin with, ideally. And several of our hotels are built in such a manner that energy efficiency is at its peak. Natural light is utilized to the extent possible. It is built
in lobby.
including our lobby. So air conditioning, I mean, but it's a unique case where in a hotel this large, there's no air conditioning in the lobby. We have several other hotels which do have air conditioning, but do not draw upon too much energy when it comes to lighting of rooms, lighting of public areas, and things like that. That's number one. Number two is that we've been lucky to the extent that pretty much all of our energy is coming in from windmills. We own a windmill farm in Bellary. ITC Limited owns a wind farm in Bellary. So it really sustains our energy requirement across the board for pretty much all hotels and other businesses in the system. But what else is unique about Karnataka is that it allows us to wheel in energy from neighboring states when we run out of windmill energy. Now, this is not about saving money. It is about making an impact on the environment. And whereas it's not like the energy comes in directly from the windmill to the hotel. It goes to the grid. We pay the grid distributes it to us. There is no backdoor entry here happening. But yes, the government has been extremely supportive in making sure that there is a process to ensuring that if you're invested in green energy, the government will support that you are getting the green energy in the manner that you wish to. But yes, it's a great place to be, that you're spending no money on electricity, that you're water positive, that you're solid waste positive, and all of that. It's a very great place to be. And in fact, we have gone to the extent that, and when we talk about energy, I think it's also related in a sense with water and waste for sure. And very proudly, 2 of our hotels have just turned LEED Zero water positive. ITC Shunar in Calcutta and ITC Mughal in Agra. We've done water positive. That's also LEED certified, internationally recognized.
So that's now taking it to the next step as far as practices are concerned. So,
True.
Bhuvnesh, answering your question there, what next? So,
Yeah, true.
carbon, water.
Yeah.
I mean, it can go on. Yeah.
You know, what we need to do is we need to rewind back in time where we all began. We were actually doing extremely well till the 90s hit us.
Yeah, that's because there weren't enough hotels anyway.
No, not just hotels, not just,
well.
as a society, we started abusing our
As a society, that's right. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
All right, sorry, back to you.
I mean, I survived my way through 11th and 12th standard by selling 5 kilos of paper every month, newspaper.
There you are. All right. So next one.
So, Ronan, back to Nandi Hills. So, I thought we should have some. Why don't we have any hills in the backdrop? We only have a building.
Ronan, you're muted. Yeah.
Apologies. Zubin, I'm sitting on the hills actually.
Okay.
This is the view behind me.
So here you go. Ronan, you're in again. How many kilometers from Bangalore? 60?
Oh, no, 35.
35. Okay. 60 kilometers back and forth. Okay. But it's pretty much a rural district, right? Where you are. I mean, it's not considered to be in the city. It's very important, and we all talk about it, that hotels operating have to somewhere support the local ecosystem, creating opportunities for those locals, etc. At the same time, again, not be a burden on the resources. Just next to your hotel is a golf course, which is a beautiful golf course. I'm sure
That's
takes a lot of water. You've got a 400 plus room hotel, which definitely draws a lot of resources. But at the same time, what are the kind of opportunities that you have given the local communities, and what is it that you have done to ensure that you don't become a burden on the resources, the limited resources today available in that region?
Zubin, thank you. This is a great question, and I think actually today you've managed to put a question together which cover all elements of sustainability. Because I think when you're in a situation like ours, we have the unique opportunity of being relatively remotely located. So I think the element of what we can do for the community is part of this whole topic of sustainability. I think the expectation for our communities around us is very big. When you open a hotel this size or a development this size, that everybody has huge expectations. They expect employment, they expect an upside for local businesses, and as well as establishing the area.
He'll come back.
Of meeting many a village panchayat president, so I've got to meet everybody up here in the Nandi Hills. So out of about 500 associates, about 30% of these are recruited from our local villages, right? And that number is a little bit higher if you include our associates from North Bangalore.
Yeah.
I cut out there. Sorry, did I?
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know where
the hiring of, you said about 30% local,
Yeah.
a little more if we count North Bangalore.
Yeah, so exactly. So recruiting from the local area means that people have less distances to travel. There are less cars on the road or less buses on the road. But our focus is not just to provide employment and welfare, but also to provide training, better work-life balance. So because people live nearer, well-being as well as welfare, so that these mainly young individuals can see a bright future and career ahead of them.
Super.
Additionally, it's not just about what we can do for our communities or what we can do for the people in the communities. On World Earth Day, which was late April, we Marriott had an initiative to make every key count. So for all of our 22,000 rooms within India, we planted a tree for every single bedroom. So our resort, we planted almost 400 trees in a nearby temple, so that we could provide a little bit of greenery on the way up to the temple, and we involved all of our associates for this. We also have a beautiful golf course, and we have a beautiful natural area around us. So there are some dogs that are wandering around. So we've actually recently taken these dogs under our wing to provide shelter, to provide food, vaccination, etc., just to give that feeling that we are not a burden on the community, but that we are able to help provide a little bit of an elevation to the overall area.
You know, Zubin, I've stayed at the Gulf Shire, not just one of the greenest assets, right? And large. How many acres is that, Ronan?
So the hotel is sitting in a 300-acre resort, but the hotel itself is 24 acres.
There you are, right? So 300 acres, and it's massive, green, and they've gone the extra mile to support the local community, not just the catchment, right? So every second person that you see in the hotel or the golf course is a local.
Yeah, you would think my Canada is better.
Oh yeah.
You've seen ITC Grand Bharat coming up.
Oh, I have. Of course I have. I have. ITC Grand Bharat is, yes, another story.
Yeah, but I can, it resonates here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like he has to deal with Kannadigas, whereas in ITC Grand Bharat, we have to deal with Srijan's brother.
Yeah. The judge. All right. Okay.
So Srijan, how do you believe? Do you believe that being a more sustainable hotel can actually create more jobs, job opportunities, etc.? Do you think it's going to take away jobs if we start becoming sustainable or start following sustainable practices? How do you think? Well, do you think that there is some technology that hotels can adopt to further enhance their efforts and their sustainable practices?
So Zubin, before I answer that, I just want to give you two stats, quick, and I make it very quick. And so basically we are here for business, and our main focus is to earn money for our key investors. Just to let everyone know that products which are marketed as sustainable, they grew 2.7 times faster than those that were not. Just food for thought. So ITC, you guys are doing good job in terms of marketing that you guys are the first green certified hotel. And of course, you guys are doing good job also. And so is the rest of all of us trying to catch up. And 75% of sustainable goods sell better online than in store. And then 78% of consumers feel that sustainability is important. And 55% of consumers are willing to pay more for eco-friendly brands. Okay, so that's to let everyone know that if you go green, your hotels can sell better and consumers are looking for it. Second stat, in key finding, which is on LinkedIn, only 1 in 8 worker has 1 or more green skills when people in hotels look for a job. Between 2022 and 2023, the workforce rose by a median of 12.3%, wherein the demand for going green initiative and people who had the knowledge grew by 22.4%. So there is more demand only on hotels. I'm just talking about hotels, wherein people have nuance and knowledge of running hotels which have green initiatives.
Well
Now coming to let everyone know a little bit of more stats. Our company, which is Hilton, was named as, and we ranked number 1 on diversity inclusivity in 2021, and in the top 50 companies for diversity list, wherein there are 170 nationalities and representation of workforce from different diverse base of employment. And the shift for all the companies in going green, going solar or renewable energy gives employment for people who are keen to go towards doing those kind of courses. Like today, IDC owns a windmill, so I'm sure you would have people who would know how to run these windmills. You would want people who would want practice on sustainable agriculture. So eco-friendly farming, techniques, sustainable land management. Then there are more jobs which are to do with environmental consultancy. Then there are jobs which are expert on recycling and waste management.
Then I think for sure you've got to hire a consultant to get your certification. That's for sure. The consultant, I'll ask him to the back.
And then who else then better than ITC? When you go green building and construction, you need consultant and who would go ahead and give you options and suggestions on going complete green when you build the buildings. And then it's to do with sustainable transportation. We all know that people are looking at electric vehicles or talking about sharing transportation. Then there are different positions which talk about corporate sustainability. So people who have done certified courses, these are the people who get job on corporate sustainability, and there are designations who drive corporate sustainability. And then there is biodiversity, conservation, and then circular economics. So I've listed them all. So anyone who wants to know more about the job opportunities which are related with going green, I have done a short course in it, and this consultancy is free of charge, and you guys can reach out to me. Just to summarize, hotels, and we should talk about it, all the hotels need people who are expert in recycling waste. We need certified people who help us to go green in terms of building, and then solar or windmill, we need people who can run these. And then we need expert to kind of disseminate this energy, and we need expert to talk about it so that we can market the product well and of course earn more revenues out of it. See, I'm on time.
Srijan, we are all waiting. I mean, Ronan has reminded you earlier. We're all waiting to see you in Osaka. Please organize the visa, stay, and the flight tickets.
I'm going to put in a good word to the Japanese environment minister who's staying here as well.
Yeah.
That you are very well educated and aware about the subject.
Yes.
To be
Thank you.
completely-
I'm sure with your recommendation, with everyone's recommendation, I managed to get this job. And just to let everyone know, you guys should go green and should walk up to Japan and should not take any plane. Should not. Zubin, no motorcycles for you, and eat local, and then just go green. Okay, I'll see you guys maybe in another 1.5 to 2 years.
So,
local means only value.
They should walk up to Japan or swim halfway
and
to get.
sushi. Okay.
All right.
But thank you once again, Khanna Saab and Zubin. You really get the show going. So thank you very much once again.
Pleasure.
Thank
All
you. We've still got some. We've got a couple of more questions. And again, I'm going back to Gaurav. Gaurav actually blew everybody's socks away when he last had a chance to talk. We'll bring him back down to some Mother Earth now, and let's see. Coming back into your hotel now, Gaurav. We talked about waste management and reduction of waste. One is happening in the kitchen, or one is happening in the restaurants with food, like what Girish talked about. But I'm sure the housekeepers play a major role in this as well. Is there some specific training? Is there some specific certification that housekeepers are given to, kind of come up with or to understand this subject better and to be ambassadors of sustainability?
No, so I think firstly, the hint was very, very clear. So we stick to the timelines this time.
No.
And we'll ensure Mr. Khanna doesn't have to scratch his beard again.
Not to be.
Yes, you're right. No, but you're right. We always consider restaurants, food production to be the biggest generators of waste in a hotel. But on the contrary, if you see, housekeeping is not just the biggest generator, but also the biggest cleaner of waste from a room, from a guest room and from the hotel. And considering that housekeeping exercises influence over some of the largest areas of the hotel, whether it's guest room, public areas, lobby, periphery, they're also there in it as far as the amount of waste generation is concerned. So, training housekeeping staff, making sure that they're aware of sustainable practices, which actually go a long way in making sure that we're able to reduce waste. Some sustainable practices that have been implemented in housekeeping, especially as far as IHCL is concerned, I think under Pathya, sustainability training has become a mandatory training for all new joiners that join the hotel under the 3-day induction program. So sustainability is now part of a mandatory training program. Along with that, while we do sustainability reporting on a 6-monthly basis, the training also needs to happen for everybody on a 6-monthly basis. And this includes all staff of the hotel, including the housekeeping team. So obviously, the first step has already been taken by reducing the single-use items that are going in a guest room. The second step, obviously, is what Ronan mentioned some time back. I think the next step, obviously, is to move in towards these residential type bathroom amenities that will do away with these small bottles completely. Wall-mounted ones. And this will actually reduce probably the largest amount of waste coming out of a guest room. Water bottling plants have already taken care of plastic water bottles that were, again, one of the biggest contributors, not just from guest room, but from banqueting. Little did you realize that every time you had a 1,000-cover banquet function, you were putting 2,500 small bottles of Bisleri and creating so much of plastic waste that was just impossible to take care of. So that is something that has automatically got addressed with the bottling plants. Training for the housekeepers also includes training on waste segregation at source, because if the waste gets segregated properly at source, the disposal becomes that much more easier. So now housekeepers are being trained on recognizing waste and categorizing it under recyclable, compostable, and non-recyclable. And that segregation happens at the floor level itself, so that when it comes down, this segregation is already done, and hence the dispersal of it becomes that much more easy and more systematic. Next is obviously energy and water conservation. How do we train our housekeepers to become more energy efficient and more energy conscious? Do they realize what causes an increase in energy consumption? Do they realize how can they reduce water consumption when they're cleaning a guest room? using an eco-friendly cleaning products. Obviously, Diversey as our partners has been at the forefront as far as developing chemicals which are less harmful to the environment. I won't say they're not harmful at all, but less harmful to the environment.
I was going to talk about that. Let's not forget our sponsors.
Correct. So there comes a vote of thanks to the sponsors as well.
Yeah, true.
And
No, but I
obviously-
think that's come out quite naturally and come out quite spontaneously because it's a fact. I think Diversey has been the
They've been at the
pathbreaker
forefront.
as far as developing such
Absolutely.
chemicals for us. Yeah.
Then essentially linen and towel reuse programs, which a lot of hotels had done away with, but have actually come back to those programs again in the last couple of years. If you remember in the early 2000s, this was a common thing. You had linen reuse cards across all guest rooms, and you were giving the guests the option to choose whether they wanted the linen to be changed daily or not. Cut to 2017, 15 to 20, we always thought that this was against the principle of luxury and that guests needed their linen to be changed on a daily basis. Cut to today, you've realized that it is what your guest needs today. Guests don't want their linen to be changed daily. Guests don't want their towels to get changed daily because they're obviously using the same towels at home for 2 or 3 days. So they don't have a problem using those towels again. And they realize the environmental impact that washing a towel daily can cause. So obviously encouraging those programs to get started once again. And as far as training is concerned, obviously educating housekeeping staff on sustainable practices, proper waste management, green cleaning techniques, energy water conservation, handling linen and towels, identifying opportunities for improvement, and obviously creating a green culture. I'll say green culture across the hotels. So,
फर्रे बना के रखे हैं.
No, for
Fog sheets.
cheat sheets.
Fog sheets.
All in the mind. All in the mind.
No, so so the more we're talking about it, the more we realize that it's not just one department or one division or one. It's a holistic kind of a thing in terms of the individuals, the people. Manas talked about design of building. We're talking about service designs. We're talking about the awareness that the customer has to have, awareness that the employee has to have to be able to deliver that experience. So that's great. Another big one, Girish, is procurement and purchase. There are these, we talk about go local, vocal for local, and various things, and especially this thing of carbon footprint, especially when you're transporting produce from far and wide. Is there some kind of a program, or is there some kind of process that you have regarding procurement of goods and services locally?
Yes. So if we take Bangalore as a market, we have a lot of vegetables and everything being produced in and around Bangalore. So the entire that consumption happens as well as production happens all come from nearby, called hop moss, which is all locally produced, completely coming into the Bangalore market. The APMC market is one of the biggest market. KR market is one of the biggest market where we tie up with the vendors who bring us fresh vegetables. Now, this also comes within, we don't need to store the vegetables because the vegetables are available every day. We can plan the menu, we can plan the things accordingly so that we don't need to store in any of our deep freezers and other things, so we can use that. So it comes with that saving energy as well as procurement with the local vendors. Second, Bangalore and Karnataka are the largest organic producing farm market in India, next to Maharashtra. So we have a lot of farm produce, organic nature, can be vegetables, can be fruits, can be so many things available around. So we have a good set of locally produced fruits and vegetables that is available in organic segment, in a mass segment, both are available on that. Now, on this third front, when we talk about the food waste that we discussed some time back, there are many apps available. In US, in UK, in Europe, there is an app called Too Good to Go. Too Good to Go is an app which you can use in restaurants, in independent kitchens, where after the meal period, you can use that app. I can order food at a discounted price. It can be delivered. In India also, in that particular Bangalore, there is an app called Olio. Olio is an app that allows you to give order food and then take it from there. So the food doesn't go into the waste bin, but it reaches some consumer at a certain price, whatever they decide on that. So these things also helps the procurement as well as the consumption to balance it out in a large way to do it. In RHG, we have a program. Gaurav was mentioning about training the staff and other things. We started supporting this induction of sustainability practices right from our orientation time, training time. But we created a pledge program, PLEDG, pledge. It has got 6 or 7 basic things. Switch off the tap, switch off the, close the tap in your back areas, in the kitchen. Switch off the office light, very basic. Don't overload the dishwashing machine. Don't underload the laundry machines.
Report leakages.
Absolutely. I mean, it is continuously running it, and we have a parameter every quarter in which we check and see whether the habit of saving things, because water is used in the house also, the food wastage is also in their house also, the entire process of washing and other things. So we are creating that social consciousness in our hotel, in all the Radisson group of hotels, amongst the community, that what we have got, to bring in this sustainable practices in the society where they live in the community they live in, so that it has got a cascading effect.
Super. Right. Thank you, Girish. Gaurav, great reconnecting. Srijan, Bhunesh, next time you'll have to do a international Zoom call, and we'll have to adjust it to Srijan's timings.
Zubin, I will ensure that I'm available. I can't miss sessions wherein you are the moderator. Just can't do that.
No, that's all.
What about me? What about me?
Kripa Khanna Sahab ki hai. I'm only a facilitator.
Khanna Sahab dhoka deke, he's staying at a different hotel. So me and Khanna Sahab are katti now.
All right, so I'm going to come and stay with all of you. Why don't we sum up, Zubin?
No, thank you. That's it. I just wanted to thank all of you, and considering that you took about 10 minutes for the opening statements and the introductions, we are 1 hour and 6 minutes into our session. Pretty much thank you, and thanks everybody for sticking to the timelines and keeping the session engaging. I do hope our viewers see value in this, and on behalf of all the panelists, I'm saying that if there is anybody who would like to know more about sustainable practices in hotels and what it is that we follow, please do not hesitate to reach out, and I'm sure they can be a good knowledge sharing platform. And I think the last publication of BW Hotelier as well had some excellent articles and write-ups about sustainability, including some statements made by Sherpa. Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Ronan.
Well done.
Just lift it up a little. Yeah.
By Sherpa Amitabh Kant, who also made some statements here as well. So it's something that we have to really live and walk the talk. Can't just be doing lip service and leaving these things to forums to discuss and forget about. So good job.
Zubin, really, we have no choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to do it. Look, 2000.
I get reminded that by my daughter every day.
Yeah, there you are. And then the youngsters are far more conscious, right? 2050 and 2070. I would have been gone, and I would have been in my 20s or 30s in the next life. 2070, whoever's making these commitments, they very well know they're not going to be around. So these are nice commitments to make. The challenge is, what are we going to do in the next year, 2, 5, 10 years, right? If we don't fix it within 10 years, we are too late, right? This is a great panel, and I'm delighted we've done this show with you all. There are 2 or 3 topics which are extremely dear to my heart, right? Sustainability environment is one. The other one is diversity and inclusion, right? We've all got to hold hands and carry the less fortunate and the ones who need better opportunities with us. And that is all about diversity and inclusion. I wouldn't want to add more to what you all have said. We'll be doing a lot of sessions on environment and sustainability and ESG. And who better than to have you all on a show together, and Diversey, who's encouraged us who's put their money where their mouth is. And thank you, Diversey. Thank you, Zubin, Ronan. This is our first show together, right? And we've done previous shows with Zubin, Girish, Manas, Gaurav, and Srijan. We're going to do a lot more. The BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards is coming 3rd week of October in Delhi. Lock your dates, everybody. The nominations are going to soon open. The action's going to begin. We shall soon be announcing the dates and venue and when the nominations will open. Next week, we're heading back to the north with 2 more shows in Delhi. Some fantastic speakers are going to be there. Be there, lock your date. The next show is again going to be on sustainability. A fantastic team is going to be there. August 3 and August 4, Thursday, 3rd and 4th. Be there 4 to 5 p.m. Thank you, BW, backend team, Ajit, Saurabh, Bulbul, Tanvi, Prashant, Kartike, Shweta, and Salman. And thank you all, right? This wouldn't have been possible without all your help. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Pleasure,
Thanks,
pleasure.
Ronan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zubin.
Thank you, Zubin.
Together.
Thank you. Thanks,
And
Zubin.
Zubin, great moderation. Great moderation.
Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous, Zubin. Well done.
We are
Well done,
guided
Zubin.
by you, Mr. Khanna.
Bhuvi-san.
अब रिकॉर्डिंग खत्म हुई कि नहीं हुई? अभी लाइव चल रहा है. Sorry, sorry.
Okay.
मैं पंजाबी में बाय बाय मैसेज करके करूंगा आपको, ठीक है?
Bye.
Bye guys. Bye bye.
Ronan, thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'll see you next week, Ronan.
Gaurav,
God bless you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
See you next week, Ronan. Bye.